The judgment of Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel 4 is a result of Nebuchadnezzar's pride. The same rings true for the dragon in Revelation 12, for Matthew 23 clarifies the arrogant position of the religious leaders who stood against Christ. The mortal wound of the beast corresponds to Nebuchadnezzar's humbling and the throwing down of the dragon by the Lord in accordance with the Father's will. This victory was not by any means instantaneous, but lasted from the time he entered his ministry until he ascended to the Father in Acts chapter 1. The Lord's love, obedience, and sacrifice not only brought the dragon down to the earth, but also introduced the age of grace in which we now stand. Now let's reconsider a couple of things. Let his mind be changed from a man's, and let a beast's mind be given to him, and let 7 periods of time pass over him. As mentioned in part 7, the beast's mind is a carnal mind, agreeing with the head of gold in the dream image, and the understanding of the animalistic features of the beast with its 7 heads. The phrase 7 periods of time is rendered simply as 7 times in the King James. Like the word dragon in Revelation, the word time or times is found 13 times, and only in the book of Daniel. Remember, 13 is the number of rebellion and depravity, so it fits quite well with the idea of the carnal mind. The idea of 7 times certainly involves a period of time that Nebuchadnezzar had to pass through. And how long was this? We don't know, and it's not important, for the spiritual meaning of 7 denoting fullness is what we should take from this. That being said, please note the following. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. Friend, consider God's sovereignty. Nebuchadnezzar could not resist what God determined. In the same way that Nebuchadnezzar's judgment was not complete until 7 times passed, so the beast is given a mouth and authority to continue for 42 months. To further emphasize, he is granted the ability to make war with the saints and to overcome them and to have authority over every tribe, tongue, and nation. Did you catch all of that? From where does the beast get its power and authority? From the same source that brought Nebuchadnezzar down from a king to a homeless man, God. After all, we're considering prophecy, are we not? Isn't prophecy from the mouth of the Lord? And once prophecy is spoken, will it not come to pass? What was the beast given? A mouth. Might this agree with the 4th beast and its huge iron teeth in Daniel 7:7 and the mouth of a lion in Revelation 13:2? So how does a mouth make war? Reconsider Proverbs 18:21 and you have your answer. Bring that to Proverbs 6:17 and 19 and you have an even better answer. So how long does this beast have this power and authority? 42 months. What is 42 months? 7 times 6. 7 times 6. Is this a literal amount of time? I don't believe it is, for there are 6 important 7s in Revelation that form the bulk of the visions of John and set forth the purpose of God in Christ in us. What are these 6 7s? The 7 churches and angels of the churches. The 7 prophecies and seals on the scroll on the right hand of the Father, and the 7 trumpets and bowls. 6 important 7s are 7 times 6, totaling 42. Now, let's change direction. In part 7, I said we have a 3rd witness of the mortal wound. It's found in the following. It shall come to pass in the day the Lord gives you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and the hard bondage in which you were made to serve, that you will take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the golden city ceased. Here we are in Isaiah, chapter 14, the same chapter tradition uses to advance the Lucifer theory. The first thing to notice is that this is a proverb against the king of Babylon, so it fits well with our current perspective. When we move to verse 12, we find the following. How you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of dawn. How you are cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. Above the stars of God, I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Those who see you will stare at you and ponder over you. Is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world like a desert? What happened to Nebuchadnezzar and the dragon? Weren't they both cut down to the ground? They were, and in keeping with this, Nebuchadnezzar was given a beast's mind, a carnal mind, leading to an impoverished condition for 7 times. Would this not be a fallen position? And remember, the dragon was thrown down from heaven to earth. This too would be fallen. Now, note that the ESV has changed the word Lucifer to day star. Other versions have done something similar. The concordant literal Old Testament renders Isaiah 14:12 as how have you fallen from the heavens. How, son of the dawn. This is more accurate, for the word Lucifer is found just once in the Bible, put there by Jerome when he wrote the Latin Vulgate. As noted, the actual Hebrew word means how and has no association whatsoever with the word Lucifer. If all of this is true, then there is no such being called Lucifer. As we continue in Isaiah 14, the question is posed, is this the man? Nebuchadnezzar was a man, but since this is a proverb, might this point to another man? I believe so. And since the natural is first, followed by the spiritual, then I believe it points to the essence of the carnal man that we have been discussing all along. This is why I see Nebuchadnezzar's dream image as outward first, then inward. What brought Nebuchadnezzar's fall? Pride. What brought the dragon's fall? Pride. What do the 5 numbered aspects in Isaiah 14 reveal? Pride. Why did Christ rebuke the scribes and Pharisees in Matthew 23? Because they were full of religious arrogance, accusatory and condemning. Friend, it's pride that goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. My definition of pride is the inordinate love of the self, the element that moves us from natural to carnal. Have you ever asked yourself why the dragon was even seen in heaven in the first place? It is not because the dragon represents an angel, but because man in his pride could approach God as long as he followed the strict rituals instituted by the law. For this reason, the writer of Hebrews states that following these rituals could not perfect the conscience of the worshiper. Rituals may make us feel good about ourselves, but they don't bring us any closer to true worship. True worship is to love God and our neighbor as ourselves. We must also follow the logic regarding the 7 heads and 10 horns. If they represent the carnal nature and mind in Revelation 13, then they must represent the same thing in Revelation 12. The reason the 7-headed entity is seen as a dragon first shows that the Jewish system of religion, based on the law, was a ministry of death and condemnation, confirmed by Revelation 12:10. When the carnal man takes hold of the law, he will use it to accuse and condemn others because he himself is steeped in pride. This was why Christ rebuked the Pharisees so soundly. I will close at this point, but there is more to consider in Isaiah 14, so be sure to join me for the next study.